Because the internet is becoming divided between people who prefer just watching YouTube videos versus visiting conventional web pages, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that very few people visit my website, even though I have an ad for it at the end of each of the videos I've put out. For those who might be interested but haven't checked it out yet, I thought I'd give a quick overview of what my webpage, waynesthistandthat.com, is all about. I created the website in 1998 to host 3 X-Files books and novels I'd written, Player Mirrors and Dreamer, and 2 short X-Files short stories, Life and Devil's Food. It also hosted a Star Trek Deep Space Nine novel titled Dreadnought. The reason I use a black background with white letters for the most part is that on the monitors back in 1998, that combination produced the highest resolution for text and made it easier to read. It also went along with the dark themes of the X-Files stories, as well as the in-space context of the Deep Space Nine novel. As you might imagine, as a new website, I didn't get very many hits. I counted myself lucky if I got 20 a month. Then I got the idea that if I made web pages about many of the hobbies I had, I'd have more pages to attract people, and they might eventually wander over to the novels. It's rather like fishing. The more hooks you have in the water, the greater the chances are you're going to get a bite. What happened over the next 17 years is that the site grew to the point now, in the beginning of 2015, that it has 460 different pages covering more than 350 different subjects, over 1.5 million words, and over 4,000 images. And now, since I'm on YouTube, I'm also starting to crowd the 100 mark on the number of videos I have. The main web page, or the entry page, is collected into similar topics, as you can see here. So if you do visit the site, simply scroll down to the area that interests you and then click on any page that catches your eye. I'm happy to report that things have improved in terms of the number of page views I'm getting. As of early 2015, the site was averaging a little over 8,000 page views per day. But let's take a few examples to see what you might get into. For example, let's look at some ultra-fast nuclear detonation pictures. This is a small little web page which surprisingly gets a lot of views every year, several tens of thousands. It shows what nuclear detonations look like within a billionth of a second after the bomb is detonated. It also has some information about the history, and this chart in particular is interesting. The largest nuclear weapon ever detonated was Big Ivan by Russia at I think it was 90 megatons. For an example, this tiny dot down here, the number 1, which is barely on the graph, that's Nagasaki and that's Hiroshima. These are the largest American detonations. You can see this is truly unbelievably powerful. If this bomb were dropped in the middle of Los Angeles would no longer exist. I'm happy to say that not all of the web pages are as dark as that. For example, we go up here to Addams Family pages. These are all pages about my Addams Family pinball machine, how to do triangle looms, and this page, The Lost Art of Knitting Nancy's. I'm proud to say that it gets a #1 ranking on Yahoo, Bing, and Google if you just put in the keywords Knitting Nancy's. Let's see what else. Really, there's so many things it's hard to pick a few out. I have at least half a dozen #1 Google searches and probably 2 or 3 dozen top 10 Googles. And that's pretty good for a website that doesn't sell or advertise for anything. Some of the pages are quite controversial. For example, the most popular entertainer of the 20th century. I get a lot of hate mail about that because, as you might guess, believe it or not, it is not Elvis Presley. One of the more bizarre ones is lucid dreaming. When you read this page, you're not going to believe it, but it is a proven scientific fact, a skill that almost anyone can learn that I did and experienced. Definitely worth a trip. So that's an overview of the site. I challenge anyone who visits it to not find at least a few pages that will interest them. All of the content is original and written by myself, and if that seems like a lot, remember I've been working on this for 17 years. I hope you'll give it a visit. If nothing else, the 34 pages of jokes should be good for a laugh.